Welcome back to the Hearthstone Summer Masters live from London, the Gfinity Arena. I'm here in the analyst desk with Lothar, of course, and joining us now is Sottle, who's going to be analysing this next game with us. So game number 2, it's going to be Hawkeye versus Detherlor from Group B. It's one that I think we've all been looking forward to. Is when we saw the fixtures come out, this was the match that we all thought, this is the one we've got to see. And I think that was maybe a few days before these two even became teammates, which adds a whole nother dimension to it. And we will take a look at the bracket in just a second when we get to see those matchups and see the other matchup from that group. But it's going to be very interesting to see how these two top Greek players match up, Lothar.
Yeah, definitely. This is the match I'm looking forward to. And I hope the quality of the plays I saw from those players in different tournaments were always super high. So I have my expectations high for this match too, and hopefully it will be this. This match will be something that we want to keep an eye out.
A lot of experience in high pressure, big tournament situations for these players as well, Sottle.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can't really overstate how important that is in situations like this. The match we just watched with Exploding Cow, for example, like I've played a million games against Cow. I used to be a teammate with him on Team Infused, and I know he's a lot better than what we saw just then. So maybe his lack of LAN experience has made him make some suboptimal plays, whereas that's something we're probably not going to see too much from Hawkeye and Detherlor because of their level of big game experience.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket just now. You can see the second match is going to be Nick Chipper versus Legend Darren. That's going to be going on off stream, so we'll bring you obviously the results of that on the broadcast when we do. And two very interesting players as well. Nick Chipper, my dark horse that I've picked. So
really?
We'll see if he does come through. Of course, we'll probably just never see him on stream and he'll lose both matches just to spite me. But Hawkeye and Detherlor both on Team Fade to Karma. A very interesting team as well with lots of staff, coaching and analysts. Who, and speaking to these players before, they are, taking advantage of that and using those different formats. I know you spent some time talking to both of them. So, what kind of impression did you get from them?
I did, yeah. I spoke to him in a decent length about the setup of the new team, and like you say, it is a very all-encompassing team. They haven't just picked up players; they also have the analysts and the coaches and all sorts of auxiliary staff as part of the organization as well. So it's a setup that they're definitely trying to take seriously. Perhaps slightly ill-chosen name, because what does that even mean?
Who knows? They don't know what it means. No one knows what it means.
Yeah, outside of that, I did have a good chat with them. It's an extremely strong team. Players like Cypher that we know as part of the UK scene is a huge threat in any open bracket tournament that he's played in recently. Toyda as well, just a hugely strong lineup and a team that's really going to be looking to make a big impact in future tournaments and perhaps starting today in Gfinity.
Well, let's fade into the matchup screen where we can take a look at the classes as well. And you can see them both in their spiffing new Fade to Karma shirts, which are very nice. Though they were both complaining they're going to be a bit cold in the booths, but we can see the class lineups. Hawkeye bringing Paladin and Mage along with his Warlock. And just seeing, didn't quite catch the classes for Detherlor there. Well, let's talk about the Paladin. It's something we've mentioned, I think, briefly so far. We talked about the first. There are 3 decks which you pretty much think of the strongest: Hunter, Warlock, Warrior. And to deviate from that might be, one might be an interesting lineup. To deviate from that in 2 cases, bringing Mage and Paladin, not even something like Rogue, which we talked about. It seems really interesting from Hawkeye, Lothar.
Well, the Paladin, it's one of the classes that can actually play around patrons with their hero power if they have Quartermaster. Because otherwise, if you play like a Shaman class, right? Because we have two classes that have minion generations in their hero powers, right? And they're both really bad against patrons. So against the biggest deck in the metagame. But Paladin has the Quartermaster in their arsenal, and I think most Paladins will be playing 2. Unless they're like super aggressive Paladins.
Well, this is
the other option.
Yeah, there are 2 different styles of Paladin right now we've seen.
And the aggressive Paladin is something that you might consider, as it might be super strong against whole lineups. Like, let's say, Freeze Mage, Patron, Handlock, or Dragon Warlock. Those three decks rely on card draw and big amounts of, how do you say that? Just big hand. Right? So you can punish them by having the Divine Favor, even with 2 or 3 cards or 4 cards in your hand. You just draw 6 because they have 9 or whatever, and you just still win because you have so much time to develop the board, even with like 1 or 2 creatures, or just get all those combo parts for the 1 charge creature with Blessing of Might, and whatever else. And just go for the win.
Yeah, it can be absolutely crazy amounts of burst damage. It's a deck which either really seems to go really right or really wrong, Sol.
It is, yeah. It's very, like mid-range Paladin is probably the more consistent option. You have sort of 40 to 60% matchups across the board against a lot of things, whereas aggro Paladin is the more polarizing one, where some matchups you can just blow out, but some matches you get blown out on the flip back. But the interesting thing to me about Hawkeye's lineup is that he's finally abandoned Shaman.
Yeah, we've been trying to make that work for a while.
Notoriously, Hawkeye is a Shaman player, a Shaman enthusiast, a Shaman expert, but we've seen a lot of players go through this situation where their favorite class kind of isn't strong in the meta. You can go as far back as like a Mars always used to bring Priest at every tournament. And then eventually you have to kind of make this decision, like, do I want to play my favorite class or do I want to win? And like Hawkeye has like leant towards the latter finally and said, okay, no more Shaman. I'm going to bring a strong lineup now.
In a word, predictions, Lothar?
I would say Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
So, both going for Hawkeye down here. Let's see what our casters think. Take it down to Nimsh and Kaldi. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm here with Kaldi, as Calum said, and Kaldi was just at an analyst desk. How did you enjoy the desk?
It was not bad, yeah. Always fun to get that in, yeah. But excited to cast it now, I guess, as well, though.
All right, and the guys had some predictions. So they say Hawkeye. What's your prediction for the match?
I think Hawkeye as well. The main thing is Hawkeye is playing Mage, and looks to be possibly Freeze Mage, and Freeze Mage is favored against both the Hunters and all of the Warlocks, so if he has that class, it's going to be probably an easy win. But I think if Detherlor is going to take this, he's going to have to beat the Paladin over and over, I think.
All right. So, well, going with my heart, I will actually vouch for Detherlor here. I'm thinking Detherlor is going to take it. I don't know if the guys mentioned it at the analyst desk, but Detherlor was the guy who was second in the Gamers Origin tournament. That was, I think, biggest Swiss ever in Hearthstone.
I think so, yeah.
400 people.
At least live, offline.
That's for sure. We had 400 people and so many machines. Detherlor was second. He lost only to Maverick in the final. Obviously, Hawkeye is a great player. We've seen him having a lot of achievements. He qualified here. He qualified for Vulcan. He was a DreamHack top 8 as well.
Played someone you know, maybe? Kaldi?
He played versus Kaldi, and he won versus you. That's why he qualified at the top 8.
He did.
Okay. So now, well, you can cast him today and just say
like, a new one, I guess, yeah.
Point all the bad plays and misplays from Hawkeye. All right, but you still vouch for Hawkeye. You think he's going to win?
I think the lineups look in his favor, yeah, slightly, but it's going to come down to the Paladin, I think.
All right, so Paladin is the key. What else do we know about Detherlor?
He qualified for Pinnacle, and I believe he got 4th. He did well in the Greek tournament, the Gamers, won with 6-0 in Orange as well. So strong online player, but hasn't been in too many LANs. So yeah, he was at DreamHack Summer, but didn't do too well there. Whereas Hawkeye went 7-0 in the Swiss, but fell in round of 8, sadly.
All right. I think like Greece is actually going really strong at Gfinity. Like last Gfinity, we hit Kroba in the final versus Firebat, and now we have those two amazing players, Detherlor and Hawkeye, from Fade to Karma.
Yeah, also, I mean, people used to always think about Lokan only as the Greek player, but now we have 4 or 5, strong Greek players, so Greece is becoming a powerhouse, I'd say, in Hearthstone. Yeah. But
how unlucky for the guys to actually meet each other in the second round of the tournament. Like, it's actually first round for them because they haven't played before. And, like meeting your teammate and somebody has to lose.
I mean, it's round of 8, so you have to face someone strong, I guess, But I think they're just having a good time about it, laughing. And because their buddies from Greece came here together stuff, so on the same team on top of that. So
are you saying it's karma?
Possibly, yeah.
And somebody has to fade to it after the loss. Well... All right, but somebody's going to win, and they can still make it maybe out of the group, like both of them.
Yeah, I think that both would be favored. But Nick Chipper, though, is also really strong, I think. So I think Group B is more stacked. I don't know, it's more consistent, So I think it'd be tough to get out of that one.
All right, I have some additional information about those guys. Something that you guys might not even know. So Hawkeye's favorite card is Fire Elemental, and then for Detherlor, that's Angry Chicken and Sylvanas. So he likes his chickens, he likes his chicks as well. And also favorite classes for Hawkeye, guys mentioned it, that it's Shaman. For Detherlor, it will be the Warlock. And he is playing it right here, right now. Warrior versus Warlock, that's the first pairing. What do you think about that?
Depends on what type. It could be really bad or really good. We have to hope for the Warlock's sake that it's going to be Handlock. But very few players play Handlock, yeah. Maybe 5 to 10 players in EU play Handlock. It's
still a viable deck, like I've seen.
It's a really strong deck. It's my favorite deck, for example. But people seem to be going for the consistency of Midlock. It's also easier to play, and but the thing with Handlock, if you mess up once, you're just out of the game completely. One mulligan, one tap, one small misstep. Whereas if it's between Haunted Creeper and Knife Juggler, it's not a big deal. But we see here what looks to be Malilok.
Yeah, that's a Malilok, and that's the deck I believe he played at DreamHack Summers as well.
Indeed, yeah. I remember that very... yeah.
That's a painful memory I'm bringing up here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and Detherlor is playing Warrior. We don't know which Warrior is he playing yet.
We kind of know, though. It has to be Patron. I can't imagine if you have 2 analysts and a coach, they don't recommend you to go for the Patron, so... Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
also playing with Game King was a great Patron.
Did you play a lot with both Patron and Malygos?
Patron and Malygos, yeah, I've played them both, yeah.
Okay, so who do you think has an edge?
I think Patron has an edge.
Really?
But it depends on the draw. You have 1 Hellfire usually and 1 Shadow Flame. So if you draw the Shadow Flame and the Hellfire, you win. But you have to draw those 2 cards, so it's very inconsistent, I'd say. Yeah.
From my perspective, it's really similar to Handlock, because as the Malilok, you basically have those removal cards, and you have big minions like a Corruptor, like Twilight Drake. You try to play them earlier, and then Patron is not really able to combo out when you have those big minions. But you have to be really smart. Like, you can't play Imp Gang Boss after turn 6. You can't play Zombie Chow after turn 6. So you want to mulligan specifically for the small minions first, and then you try to draw out the game and win with Burst.
I think to note, though, if you're playing Handlock, you have the Sun Furies, you have the Defenders of Arcus, you have Flood Belchers, but each Sun Fury will taunt up 2 minions, So you have maybe 6, 7, 8 taunts in the deck in total. Whereas for this Malilok, there's maybe 2 Belchers usually, and possibly 1 Defender of Arcus, but so you have to both draw into the AoE and into the taunt. So
that's true.
So you'll basically lose maybe 1 in 3 games. Every other game, maybe 40%. I don't know, just based on the draw, not throwing the card you need. So, and as you see here, there's no taunts, there's no AoE. Yeah,
there's no taunt, no AoE. There's a couple of minions to just start the game off. And for Detherlor, he actually has a pretty good hand. There is the weapon, Inner Rage, and Patron. If he risks it, and if he unleashes Patron on 5, he might actually be in a very good spot to win the game. But then, you never know if there's an AoE, Shadow Flame or Hellfire.
I think it's just so excellent to have Patron against Imp Gang Boss. It's kind of like playing against a Haunted Creeper. You can get 3 or 4 Patrons just out of that 1 card. But Twilight Drake is an answer, but there's also double execute. So
with Imp Gang Boss, sometimes it's a trap. Like, the Malilok plays Imp Gang Boss, you get those Patrons, and then there is Hellfire.
That's true, yeah. I kind of just like him to go for maybe No Mission Venture and pass here. I don't see a rush to execute this, actually. It's only 4 damage you take on the next turn, and why not just wait a turn and yeah.
I like it. I mean, you draw a card, you get a minion that may activate the execute on turn 5 if you choose to.
There's some, I guess, merit to go for maybe Cruel Taskmaster execute, but that basically guarantees that we're going to see a Patron on turn 5. It's a bit all in, to be honest.
It is. I really like the No Mission Inventor also because you can just attack with the Death Spite into the Twilight Drake. 2 damage to Twilight Drake from the Inventor, 5 from Death Spite, and you kill it, you save the execute for something else.
But since we don't have an AoE from Hawkeye, it's gonna work out better, I think, this way for Detherlor. Detherlor, indeed, yeah. So, Dark Bomb, I think tap is at least gonna happen. Yeah, I think tap into... Yeah, start with the tap at least.
You have to tap because your hand is terrible. Like, you don't have any combo parts. And you win this game by getting combo parts. Soulfires, Dark Bombs, then Torison, Malygos.
I'd actually argue it's not bad for this turn right now, but if this was turn 9 or 10, it would be horrible. Because, you want to get the Imp Gang Boss out early so it doesn't become a liability against the Patrons. So I think just for this turn now, it's okay, but yeah, it definitely, if it's between, Imp Gang Boss or Implosion, you go for the Imp Gang Boss because you can tap as well, and obviously Hawkeye, a very experienced player, so he knows that.
Yeah, that was definitely the correct play right there. And you want to get some value from the Imp Gang Boss. Late game, even if Warrior has maybe 2 free cards, there's always a risk of a second Warzone commander, maybe with a second Patron, where you just lose the game right there. Because those games often go to attrition. You just, both players, they run out of cards, run out of answers, and then whoever gets an edge on board is winning.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the Malilok is very consistent, But you need the right draws, though. I mean, you're gonna have to play every single turn of the game, you know, and often more than one option that's playable. But
Detherlor is really brave. He is going for the big patron turn, and for now, Hawkeye doesn't have any AoEs to stop it.
I really like this idea, though. I was talking about it earlier with the last match. You played to the strength of your hand. We saw Tom playing Warlock, for example. He had double Soulfire, and he played it, you know, hesitantly and kind of passive. But now we see Detherlor with Detherlor with I guess
a really bad hand.
A hand that's set up for patron, you know.
Yeah.
Set up to take risks, and he's taking the risks he needs to be taking. So I like that here.
Also, it's not like he threw away all the win conditions. He still has second patron in deck. He used Inner Rage really in a really good way, and it gives him a chance to just win the match right here.
That's true. I think Twilight Drake is probably the only option, or what? Like,
can you go for Belcher? Like, Belcher does kill 2 minions and then spawns another one.
I think you couldn't go for Belcher here. It's so risky. One Inner Rage, the second Taskmaster could come down and just demolish the board. So I think it's going to be either, you know, Owl, Dark Bomb, or Twilight Drake, but I like Twilight Drake more here in this case.
So there is no Whirlwind effect for Detherlor. Hawkeye might be able to clean all those patrons next turn, right? He will have Silence with Dark Bomb, Attack.
He'll leave 1 or 2 health, it seems to be the case, but it's gonna get what? Yeah. This is rough. You have to execute though, in this case.
I feel like Detherlor is in such great position. He can also like go face and not even consider Molten Giants because this deck is not running any.
I'd say he's in a very delicate position right now. He's ahead on board, but as soon as one Hellfire or one Shadow Flame comes up, it's gonna be a totally different story. And we see the big game Hunter. That's not gonna be enough. Yeah,
that's a miss.
I mean, now you know you may even have to think about how many cards are left in the deck for Hawkeye. It's gonna be what, 20 or something, and gonna go for the Belcher Tap or Belcher Dark Bomb. I don't see another option than either of those. Than one of those, yeah.
Belcher Dark Bomb is actually not bad.
But you don't solve the problem though. As long as there's patrons on the board, you don't solve the problem unless it's at 1 health. So
you don't, but then you have what, like 2 minions on board, and you have Implosion and Silence as well for the next turn.
I think I'm gonna be leaning towards tapping here actually, and then either Healbot or Belcher.
Problem with tap is like even if you get a Shadow Flame, you'll not be able to deal with this board.
But you won't die if you go for the heal button after the tap. So you'll finish clearing the board off next turn. And I mean, there's no scenario he's gonna clear the board anyway now. He goes even more passive, okay, and goes for the Dark Bomb.
Well, with Dark Bomb, and if there is a Whirlwind effect, there's at least one patron to take care of.
But if he has Whirlwind, he's gonna get a full board most likely anyway. So then the Dark Bomb feels wasted on him having maybe 6 versus 7, and often 6 is better than 7 to have on board.
Oh man, that Battle Rage is actually what Detherlor needed. Now he is in a great position. Just attack the 3/3 with 2/4, draw 3 cards. He'll have 5 mana to spend after that as well.
Yeah, there's little chance he won't draw something of value.
And just looking at how Hawkeye is struggling with this board, you want the Whirlwind to multiply the patrons. Actually, whatever you get is still good.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, he didn't draw 1 more. Interesting.
I don't know about that. I mean, the thing is, even if he gets Whirlwind, you know, or whatever he's looking to get, will also finish off the heal bot.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess not bad if he's going for the Fireworks, but Red Corsair wouldn't be good here, actually. He should not play that hero power-up.
Alright, so this is something that our analysts are probably going to talk about after the match. But for now we can see that he seems to be in a good position. As you said, Hawkeye needs that AoE.
Well, first of all, he lost out on 1 armor by not playing Damage Smith first.
Yeah.
And second of all, you don't want to fill the board like this, because in terms of certain Shadow Flames, it's not going to be as good. But no Dragon in hand, so the Blackwing Corruptor is not going to be what Hawkeye needs. He's going to forfeit this game. Detherlor taking a 1-0 lead here.
This was one of the most terrible games I've seen as a Malagos Warlock, and not because he played badly. He played it perfectly.
Yeah.
Played it perfectly. He just the draws didn't fit. And also Detherlor. It was already like A lot of people say that Lakin is involved in Hearthstone, but if Detherlor would not take the decision to go in with those patrons, to take that strategy, then Detherlor will have maybe enough time to actually draw into those AoE cards, maybe draw into those combo cards as well. So an excellent game from both players. Maybe like, okay, so Detherlor maybe last turn, as you said, there was a couple of missteps, but then again, it seemed like he's really ahead. So when you're ahead, a lot of players just stop thinking and just go with the motions because they feel like there is nothing that can stop them.
Yeah, you have to stay ahead always. It's kind of the idea behind StarCraft, where you have to go, if you're behind, you have to go really aggressive and you know, do something crazy, because if you just play out meekly and stay behind, you're just going to lose anyways. You have to do something drastic. But I think, looking at this game, I felt like Hawkeye actually played it better than Detherlor. They both played better than the last series, for sure. So
yeah.
I think these guys could both go through tomorrow, actually, compared to how they're playing right now. I mean, there's one or two minor things with Detherlor, but Hawkeye was just perfect.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But he is down 1-0, so I mean, like...
Yep, he is, but what's left for him? Looking at the classes, Hawkeye still has, well, he's Warlock, Mage, and Paladin, and Detherlor, he's Warlock and Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think Detherlor is taking next?
I think Hunter should be more solid. I mean, it's generally good against Warlock, it's good against Paladin generally, and against some mages it can be playable, but not really. But it's good against 2 out of 3, whereas with the Warlock, it's going to be a mirror, possibly. I don't know what exact Warlock Detherlor is bringing, but it depends. The Warlock should probably be iffy against the Mage, so I think I would expect Hawkeye to bring the Mage, though, no matter what, if it's freeze. If it doesn't bring the freeze, I think it's going to be possibly a Flamemaker, yeah.
Alright, so it's really hard to actually say what is going to happen, because Detherlor might be playing a Handlock or a Zoo deck as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a totally different matchup versus Freeze Mage. But we talked about it yesterday, and you said that Freeze Mage actually has a good matchup versus all Warlock decks, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Mm-hmm.
How is that? Like, because those are really different decks, like Zoo, Malygos, and the Handlock.
The thing is, the old Zoo fell apart to Doomsayer completely, but it was fast. Whereas now you have Death Rattle Zoo that's more sticky and doesn't fall to Doomsayer as much, but it's just slower, so you have more time to get the AoE rolling, and unless you get some crazy Mal'Ganis out of a Void Caller, you're really just looking quite good as a Freeze Mage. You can just outlast, and you have such a solid draw as well, especially if you're playing, you know, the Loot Hoarder, the one Loot Hoarder instead of the exploding sheep there. So it's good against all 3.
And what about Malygos? Like, because you might think, hey, Malygos has so much burst that if Freeze Mage gives him time, he's just going to one-shot and maybe pop the block faster because he has so many spells, and then just finish the game. Does it not work?
The thing is, you know, with Malygos, look, about half of the deck is useless against freeze because it's slow pressure, you know, and I mean you have to draw both Emperor and Malygos, you know, before the Freeze Mage sets up. So the Freeze Mage setting up is much easier than the Malygos, because he'll need all of the cards and the Soulfire setup before he can do anything. So,
alright. So it seems like the Freeze Mage from Hawkeye, if it's actually Freeze Mage, is in a very good state. So what you said in the beginning, Paladin is the weak link. It was very important for Detherlor to win that one game, because now with the other 2 decks, if he wins versus Paladin, he will take the match. If he fails versus Paladin, it might be hard to win versus that Freeze Mage from Hawkeye.
I think, yeah, Paladin should be the key. I mean, you know, Hawkeye is down 1-0, but losing to the patron is not a big deal at all in this matchup, at least. You know, both of his decks are favored against unfavored against the Mage, so I think, yeah, I mean the patron is probably gonna win against the Paladin anyway if we look at this scenario, and I don't know, yeah.
And before Hawkeye actually brings the exploding Cow Mage, and we are going to see a couple of games of that everlasting deck. All right, so it's Paladin for Hawkeye and Hunter for Detherlor. And that matchup, I think, favors Detherlor.
It depends a bit on what Paladin it is. Generally, it's been only one Paladin played, kinda since GVG, when they got the Muster. But recently, there's been the aggro and the old style, kind of the Dark Vonic style, the control with where you had, I guess, you know, you have 2 equalities and you have Guardian of Kings, etc., and you just play a lot of taunts and you beat Patron. Because you have a lot of board clear, a lot of taunts. That's how you beat Patron. So if it's that, it would be interesting.
Do you think it's back, like the heavy control? I've been playing a lot of ladder recently, and I've mostly faced mid-range in the, let's say, the ranks around Legend and 1, 2, 3. A lot of people were playing the super aggressive Paladin because they got there faster. And when I was leveling through, let's say, 5 to 10, there was a lot of mid-range actually.
The thing is, it's different from tournament to ladder. I mostly face mid-range Paladins as well on ladder, but I almost only face the control Paladins in tournaments myself. So it's different playstyle, but there's more hunters on ladder generally, so that comes into it. Yeah, but so Paladin against Hunter, actually the aggro Paladin is actually quite good against Hunter. So I would feel like if it's going to be aggro Paladin, it would be the best thing for Hawkeye.
Depends on the Hunter actually, because if Hunter is running double Unleash the Hounds and Explosive Trap, it might be tricky. Also opening like Hunted Creeper into Juggler, just clearing the stuff. How many Iron Beguiles are you running in the Hunter? So like I've been playing that matchup and on both sides, and I would say it's really close to even, like 50-50.
I feel you demolish the mid Hunter at least, and you know if he has Explosive Trap, then it's obviously going to be good for the Hunter, but not a lot of people are running that. It's usually a freezing trap at the moment. Maybe one explosive.
Yeah, one explosive, like double freezing, one explosive, or double freezing, one snake trap.
And the thing is also about Unleash. You know, people used to run Tulu Unleash all the time. Same with Double Force of Nature. But now people are running one Unleash, as it's generally quite bad against Patron. It's bad against Freeze. It's not that good against Druid. So most of the decks, I mean, except maybe Pala and the Hunter, you don't want to have double Unleash.
Alright, so it seems like from Detherlor, it is a mid-range Hunter with Huntmaster. We've seen the high main, we've seen Haunted Creeper as well in his opening hand. From Detherlor, it is mid-range, but he had Blessing of Kings.
He did, yeah, that's basically become a standard right now. It's so aggressive, you need the 3rd, 4th drop. I sometimes run Yeti myself, but it's just, Blessing of Kings is better than Yeti, I guess.
Well, if you have shielded mini-bots that every Paladin is running, and you cast Blessing of Kings on it, you actually have a pretty good trade with it. I like the card. It is aggressive, as you said, but you can use it to get good trades as well. To get that burst that Paladin was mostly missing. And so many times I've casted a game where Paladin seemed to be ahead because it was aggressively putting damage on, but in the end, it just was lacking that damage and never won.
A perfect hand though, almost from Hawkeye. So Chow into shielded mini-bot, what can match that? I don't even know.
Maybe Snake Trap. But he didn't have a minion on the first
Thinking
turn.
about the Hunter's mark, I think, yeah. Oof. This is painful. Think about if he talks an owl now, how bad that would be.
Yeah, that would be just terrible. Alright, well, for now, actually, the Hunter's mark worked on Zombie Chow, and you still do go with the shielded mini-bot. The question is, do you attack into the Creeper?
I think you have to go face, yeah.
On the other hand, like, if you attack into the 1-2, you kill it, you deny the beast. Not that it matters on turn 3. And then those two Spectral Spiders are not challenging the shielded mini-bot.
The thing is, there's two possibilities it could matter. You get 2 damage on face, which is always nice. But if there's going to be a Leok, it wouldn't matter if it's 1 attack or 2 attack. And if it's going to be a bow, it's going to be better that you don't attack. Because then he can't both clear the Zombie Chow and kill the shielded mini-bot. So I think, yeah, there's no scenario where I can see at least where he gets an advantage from not clearing this on turn 3.
There's a kill command! There is that beast on board! You go face, right? Kill command face!
Always, right?
Mana efficient.
Smork.
Provides blowback? Not really. Alright.
He could possibly kill command himself.
Yeah, that will give you a big blowback turn.
I think another thing about not attacking into the Hunter Creeper is the Consecrate in the hand, or potential Life Juggler, but...
Oh man, Snake Trap is so weird at this point if you think about Consecrate, but you might actually go for it. Like, you want to have the Beast on board when you play Huntmaster, and what's better than a Snake Trap?
And the thing is, he will check by attacking the... By the way, I think if he's going for Snake Trap, he has to trade into the Zombie Chow, yeah? Because you would check by going to face with the Zombie Chow, but if you have the shielded mini-bot, you check by trading into minion with Zombie Chow, but you check by going to face with the mini-bot. He's gonna trade. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So now you definitely consecrate this board.
Well played. He must have had a hunch, honestly.
Well, those guys are friends. They didn't test that much with themselves, but they are from the same team. And you know what they like to play.
Because, I mean, in general, from what you've seen, I mean, the idea is explosive trap is going to be the second trap in, freezing trap is going to be the first trap always. So I think this has to be that Hawkeye had some idea about what was in Detherlor's deck. Maybe they talked about it on the way here, I don't even know, and then...
Oh man, this is so sad. I mean, Hamaster on board is still fine, but he had so many beasts and now he doesn't have any. Maxna.
It will work out though, because I mean, still looks like Paladin is going to be the best call. And going face, I don't see, I mean...
What about like Juggler and have a 50-50 on a hit, and then maybe you can kill that for free?
Still, if it doesn't work, it's so bad.
Is it? Like you hit face and then you just face with your minion and he has to attack Juggler with the for free?
The thing is, you have to be in a hurry always against Hunter, you know. You don't win by outvaluing the late game, you win by getting, you know, 3 minions against their 1. So, it's painful, but I think it's what you have to do.
It seems like if you hit, it's amazing. If you miss, it's not like you're losing the game and you're ahead anyway.
I feel like it's even if you know... Because let's think about it, you know, he trades into the 4-3. You have a 2-drop and a 2-2. If you go for the Juggler hit and trade in, you have a 2-drop and a 1-1.
Yeah.
So it's better even if you hit, to go for the Shredder. But obviously, you know, you would rather have the Shredder in the late game versus... not even possibly, I mean, if you can go for Juggler plus Master, that'd be better than a Shredder in the late game. And now you can go Aldor and Juggler next turn.
Yeah, and also like it forces Detherlor. Does it force him to trade into Shredder? It's so bad if you trade.
He could trade into the mini bot if he figures there's not gonna be, you know, no Master of Battle, which is a fair call. I mean, he had turn 3 with nothing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It gives him more value then. But then turn 5 for now. It sucks. He doesn't have the follow-up yet, and he has Hyman in his deck, possibly even Lothar.
I think hero power or what? Yeah.
Was he thinking about let scientist kill command scientist to get a freezing trap to stall the Shredder? Oh man. Or there's no silence yet, and this turn it seems like a good Aldor. Juggler, Aldor.
I think so, yeah.
That's good, yeah. I guess killing Juggler, killing the Mad Scientist first makes sense because then you have a 50-50 on the Handmaster.
I wouldn't mind just going face though. Like, you always want to get that damage in, and why not then? Like, the thing is, also when he trades with Mad Scientist, he'll give a huge tell to what trap it is, you know, or a bluff. It's possible. But I mean, if it's similar to go face or trade in this matchup, I like to go face as
well,
Paladin.
After seeing Snake Trap, I think at this point you can assume this is the freezing trap for sure.
I mean, you never know, right? Like, people are playing Snipe even today. Like,
oh man, this Handmaster is invincible. And there is a freezing trap as well. So knowing that we have a freezing trap, how does Detherlor play out this turn?
I mean, isn't Maxna
possibly is the best play? Do you attack into the 4-1?
Do we have the confirmation it's gonna be a freezing though? Like,
we probably don't have it yet. We will see. We can assume it's a freezing trap because it's a mid-range hunter, and we've seen one snake trap before. Alright, so if you go with Max on this turn because you want to have Handmaster on 7, do you attack into 4-1 or do you just go face and leave it alone?
I think you have to go for the 4-1 and trade before you draw the Max now because it could be a Doomsayer possibly.
But what if it's like a Mana Wraith?
I mean, yeah.
then your turn sucks.
That's true, I guess, yeah. There's no right answer in that case.
Oh wow, he's going for the clears.
But I mean, also if you look at it, if it's gonna be a, you know, Flame Tongue Totem, it would be better, I guess, to go for something like this. In that case, but...
And Blessing of Kings!
This kind of, yeah, guarantees that it's gonna be a freezing trap, I think. And
yeah.
In that case, you have to just probably replay it. I don't see a better way.
It's not like 1-1 is threatening anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fine to get rid of the freezing trap before there is an Eagle Horn Bow. That's decent. Why not?
Yeah.
So Detherlor spent so many resources to actually set up this freezing trap, but I don't feel like it did anything. Well, he did clear the board, but...
I mean, he did throw away 6 mana for that, so that's something. But he also healed his Shredder back to full.
Yeah, also I feel like losing a quick shot when you're so low on cards was actually a mistake there. He will have an amazing turn 8.
This might not be a problem though. Yeah.
It will be a problem.
I mean, because I still think...
But Dr. Boom is still nice, I feel. So
yeah, but it'll trade like... Yeah, okay with Dr. Boom.
Yeah, it's fine. You can basically kill it with the bomb, hopefully, after that. I feel like Boom is alright here. Because it's green and it's turn 7. Yeah, but look at it like normally. Like you play Dr. Boom, and I'm fine with trading into the 1/1 even with the Pilot Shredder, and then he has to attack passively into Dr. Boom because he spent all the burst cards on something like Juggler or even Aldor Peacekeeper. So I assume he attacks into my Boom, kills my Boom, and then I have 2 bombs. So with those bombs, I can just attack into Maxna. If he kills the bombs, they can maybe hit Maxna, and Maxna will still die after trading to Boom.
The thing is, I'm always in a bigger hurry when I'm on the Paladin against this type of Mage and Hunter, because I feel like, yeah, you have to kind of suffocate them so they can't set up their combos. So my play would have been not the Boom there, but he prefers the Hero Power and Belcher. Now,
I guess it's fine. Like he has the Boom for later, and with this, he's going to. The problem with Maxna is that he will lose 2 minions to it, right? Like right now, she's just going to kill the Belcher.
I actually like Animal Companion and Hunt Mastering that.
So you attack Belcher with Maxna, it dies. Yeah, I think it's fine. Because Maxna is a high priority target.
I mean, you gain 5 health at least, you know, no way, 4 health at least, possibly 6 health, more likely 6 health.
Yeah.
You have a 6 health taunt and you can, you know, hide Maxna behind that, whereas you only gain 2 health from this, so...
Well, this is an awkward spot. It seems like he will have to maybe use Blessing to actually kill that Maxna.
Another small mistake from Hawkeye, he didn't put the Shredder in the middle. As always...
It might matter, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be a Flame Tongue or Direwolf, he's gonna be losing on damage with that.
Well, actually, if it will not matter that much here, because if it is a Flame Tongue or Direwolf, he'll still he can still attack into the for free, and then the token will be able to use the buff effect.
It's possible. It would be better to have the option to keep the taunt and have the but a huge turn with the Quartermaster combo.
That was really excellent. Like I was focused on Maxna, but with this you can kill it easily, and then.
But another thing, you attack first with the Paladin Shredder. This could be a Doomsayer. It could be disastrous. You know, it could be also a Flame Tongue.
That's true. That's true. What about Mana Wraith?
Yeah, Mana Wraith as well. Yeah.
And Weblord. Weblord will stop the Quartermaster.
But I mean, there's like 3 or 4 that would be better to attack first, and 1 it's better to not to attack. Yeah. Always thinking about the Mana Wraith, man. Yeah.
I'm always thinking about Mana Wraith and Weblord. People focus too much on the Doomsayer. Alright, so for Detherlor, it looks really bad.
Yeah, this is the point where you just have to go onto the face, but I mean, he can't play the freezing trap because he would just get bounced, or trade into the Quartermaster, which is possibly even worse.
There is no need to kill the Quartermaster, it doesn't do anything, so going for face, yeah.
The thing is, yeah, if he kills the Quartermaster, he'll just bounce the 1/1. If he doesn't kill the Quart...
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Wait, he actually played...
This is...
He didn't think it through, or maybe he was thinking about it, and then he didn't attack into the Quartermaster. Sometimes you have those links in your mind and they disconnect. Like you think, okay, I can't play Freezing Trap, or I can play Freezing Trap when I kill Quartermaster, and then you point at the Quartermaster, you're like, why am I attacking a Quartermaster? It doesn't make sense. It's 5 damage wasted. So you go face and then you play Freezing Trap. And then
I think he was trying to play around, you know, the replay of Quartermaster with the Freezing Trap, but then obviously a 1/1 there as well that could be replayed. But in this case, I mean, if he gets a 5/5, both the minions have 5 attack, but you can just kill a Leok. So replaying the Quartermaster, I think, is the correct call.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing, actually. And also getting a free dude.
Yeah, nice play from Detherlor again, yeah.
Doomsayer? If there's Doomsayer, he can still kill it. Alright, so this seems to be over. What can Detherlor draw to not die next turn? That's the question.
Deathwing?
Actually, yeah.
Actually be ahead with Deathwing. Think about that. You get a 4/4, kill all the minions.
Oh my
Threaten
god.
lethal, man.
Maybe somebody should actually start playing Deathwing in the midrange Hunter.
Get a few Blackwing Corruptors as well, and then really, yeah.
Dragon Hunter, I want to see that.
Call Kibler, I guess, yeah.
I'll call Kibler after this game. Alright, so Hawkeye will take it, and we'll have a tie between those friends from the same team. Fate to Karma.
New shirts as well, yeah. This is not the ones they tweeted out about.
Wait, is he missing lethal here?
Don't think he is. Is he 10?
He had 10 plus... oh, maybe he was like 2 off or something. He had plus 8. And he had 4, 9, 11.
He was a little bit off, I think.
Alright, so... Yep, that's a tie. And actually, what you mentioned in the beginning, Detherlor had to win versus that Paladin a couple of times. Now Paladin is out. And the only... Well, Detherlor still has his Lock, and he has his Freeze Mage. And we assume this is a Freeze Mage, and assuming that this Freeze Mage, we assume this Freeze Mage is never going to lose the game.
They're both playing really well, and I feel it's more based on the matchups, how the games are going. You know, there's ever so slight hiccups, but, you know, Hawkeye in general looks more solid, I'd say, this series.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alright, so with 1-1, as you said, Hawkeye is looking good. What Detherlor has to do to still win the match?
I think in this case he'll just have to, you know, somehow find a way to beat that Warlock over and over. And I mean, it's gonna be tough, especially against the Paladin one, as that was kind of the weak link it looked to be, you know. But I mean, Hawkeye had a really strong hand with Zombie Chow and the Shielded Mini Bot. I think those two cards were the key. Had to give up a Hunter's Mark really early, and he also missed out on the option of saving the max now by taunting up the Animal Companion there. So small things, but I think in general, if you're playing mid Hunter and the guy gets, you know, Zombie Chow and the Shielded Mini Bot, not much you can do.
Yeah, it's really tough to fight against that. I feel like Detherlor maybe can still win versus Freeze Mage with a midrange Hunter. I've seen midrange Hunter winning, just packing all those big minions on board, where Freeze Mage doesn't really have a way to clear everything, and has to spend resources, is not able to draw cards, and the Hunter just goes through with those Lion and Slothub.
The thing is, Freeze Mage is really consistent, but you have maybe one game in 10 or 11, you know, where you just don't throw any draw, and you
just chokes.
Yeah, you just like Flame Strike, you know, and Antonidas and Pyroblast, where you can do that on turn 3 and 4, you know, you just die. So it's not going to come as much down to the Hunter, but more just come down to the Freeze Mage, just, you know, whiffing.
Alright. So it's still possible, but it's a really low percentage. In a moment we'll jump into the game, like right now players have to decide what to pick. We're obviously playing Conquest best of 5, so they brought 3 decks. They have to win with every class they brought. And yeah, it's well, how do you like the format overall? Like, we are running this this is the BlizzCon format, the official BlizzCon format, or like World Championships format rather.
Yeah.
And I think it started in January, right? In January it was introduced, so we have many months of the format already. And do you enjoy it as a pro player and a caster?
Conquest or what do you mean?
Yeah, Conquest.
I think it's better than the blind picks. You know, it depends on how the meta is. I kind of don't like it now, but I would have loved it when we had, you know, Miracle Rogue really overpowered, or when we had, I guess, the mid-range Hunter really overpowered, because it keeps the overpowered classes in check. You can't just 3-0 with those. But I feel like there's more strategy in the, I guess, the non-conquest. You know, you can win 3 times with every deck, and if you lose with the deck, it's out. Versus if you win, you can keep going. You know.
All right. We also know what classes the players actually picked for the next match. This is Hunter and Warlock. We've seen both of the decks. So this is mid-range Hunter with high mains and Hound Masters, 2 Hound Masters, versus this Malygos Warlock. What do you think about that matchup?
I think it's favored for the Hunter for sure. I mean, the Malygos Lock again struggles with a lack of taunt, and if a Hunter doesn't face taunts, he generally wins. There are a few key cards, the Zombie Chows and the Dark Bombs, that can need to be drawn from Hawkeye, but looking good for Detherlor, I'd say. 2 heal bots, wow.
I definitely agree. And this is a Mulligan. You can keep the Gang Boss as the Malilock. But you're looking, as you said, for the small cards like Coils, like Zombie Chow, maybe even Ooze, if there is a bow. And he was running one before. Weapon removal is really key.
He knows it's he knows it's gonna be a mid-range hunter, so he doesn't need the heal bots at all. At least for now. The key card would be Shadow Flame for the Malilock now. Gang Boss is amazing as well, and a strong hand for Detherlor.
Actually, what I'm mostly looking forward when I'm mulliganing with this Malygos deck is Twilight Drake and Corruptor. Especially when I'm on coin. I like having, well, you need 2 dragons to do that, but Twilight Drake on 4 and then Corruptor on 5. Maybe just even coin Corruptor on 4 and Twilight Drake on 5 or Azure Drake on 5. Those are like pretty strong turns where I get value, draw, damage, and I get a pretty good minion on board.
Now I actually spoke with the guy that co-made this deck, Mr. Yagut, about that exact thing, keeping a Black and Corruptor. And his idea was you don't keep the Black and Corruptor because you have 6 5-drops already. So that's why his idea was you're gonna draw into a 5-drop anyway, so you might as well, you know, aim for the 4-drop, which you don't have as many of. And I like that idea, I have to say. So now looking at...
Oh man, that was a very important knife, killing the owl and saving the knife juggler from dying.
But there's nothing that can contest him, Gang Boss, so you can get a lot of value there. Maybe even force a kill command, is that possible?
That will probably be true, because you don't want to see juggling into that Gang Boss. And from Detherlor's perspective, I will not hate just using kill command here.
I think the main thing is, you know, I would have liked him to go coin in Gang Boss last turn. I think it's stronger than the owl. As in Hawkeye going for that.
Freezing Trap is actually annoying.
But the thing is, if you attack, you get another minion that could possibly go into the Freezing Trap, and if you bounce a 2/2 in Gang Boss, then that's completely fine, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I would not hate a coin in Gang Boss. And back to the topic of the Corruptor, I think like you do not keep it as well. But when you, after Mulligan, when you get it, like draw it as the first card and you have Dragon, you will not hate it as well.
It's the best 5-drop to have, especially if you have the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so kill command seems to be the best play, but looking at the bow as well, you can't really ignore it. You are going to play minions. You want to play Lothab on 5. So if you play the bow, you're producing too many imps.
Yeah, it's you also leave a 2/1, so you get an extra imp, and the 2/1 doesn't die. So I kinda would have liked him to go for the trade. I don't know, like. Is there any scenario where he wouldn't go for Lothab? And if he's going for Lothab next turn, why would he need to trade in now? You know?
Yeah.
Lose the beast synergy and also have one fewer minion on board? I mean...
I think the reason is that when you attack with a web spinner, if you get a Tundra Rhino, let's say, you will play Rhino instead, maybe? If you have...
Still, I mean, he just doesn't have a Savannah to threaten, and he's probably not going to have an empty board from Hawkeye, you know, without... something to contest there, so I think Lothab was coming down no matter what.
Well, Lothab seems great on this board anyway. But yeah, I agree. Like you could not attack. I think myself I will actually attack to see the beast, to maybe evaluate my hand differently.
I mean, you could do that next turn though. Like, my thinking is you could do that next turn. And
oh, you're right. Yeah. But then, like, if the imp attacks into the Mad Scientist, you enable Mortal Coil. It is tricky. Let's leave it to the analysts, maybe, because that was like we don't have enough time to discuss that exact situation.
So he drops the Belcher. Now we have a really strong draw here with the Paladin Sweater. I mean, he's just hovering over that Octoboom. Really wants to play that, but he has to wait a turn. Not quite there yet.
This is a weird turn, like he doesn't have mana for all the things he wants. He would love to play the bow and one of the 4-drops, but he only has 3 mana, so I guess Web Spinner and Hero Power. Bow will be amazing for the next turn as well.
Is it that crucial to kill the 1/2 though?
It's more about having a bow for the next turn, so that you can trade into something when you play Dr. Boom. And have Dr. Boom on 7 and on 8 Core Rager and Pilot Shredder.
I still kind of like the sweater there from Detherlor last turn, but no, we see the Mortal Coil coming down. A lot of options, but the hand isn't as big as Hawkeye would have wanted it to be. I feel like if he was going for the Twilight Drake, he would have tapped anyway and skipped the Mortal Coil, so this is just stronger to go for the Belcher here. He really wants to stay ahead, and like he's playing this like I was talking about earlier. He wants to have 3 minions on board against the 1 and then suffocate whatever comes out.
Yeah. He's really good at suffocating hunters, and keeping Twilight Drake also makes sense because of Blackman Corruptors.
Now it's turn 7. Dot boom screen, I mean...
Yeah, it is. You might look at other cards, read their names and descriptions, but that's what you do. Okay, well, there is this... actually, you said there is not that many taunts, but I think those are the 2 taunts in the deck. There's 1 Defender Vargas and 1 Slash Belcher.
I think it's, yeah, I believe he played out Belcher before though, which he cleared with a bow. The slime there, but...
Oh, actually,
so,
you're right.
So it's 3 in total, possibly... Very unlikely it's going to be a 4, so that's true. He's running very low on taunts here. But yeah, I mean, we go back to turn 7, you know, it kind of felt like Detherlor was kind of window shopping there for a minute, you know, looking at potentially a sweater that looks good, but, you know, then he goes back to the, yeah.
Do you siphon sell this?
You have to, I think. The risk of an owl is too great.
Okay, so you're...
Oh, okay.
Well, it's going to get... Oh, there's the BGH, obviously.
Actually wasn't visible to me.
Yeah, I somehow missed the BGH.
Yeah.
There was no question about BGH. Obviously, you have to BGH this. We need better glasses, Kaldi.
We do.
Okay, so Detherlor in a bad position, just facing a full board of minions.
He has the Unleashed though, and that can become very helpful here. But again, I mean, if he plays a single minion out, he's gonna get killed.
So we go for Shredder this time. Our Cobra is actually contesting the Twilight Drake really nicely.
Now he has to kill the BJs though with the Hounds remaining.
Yeah, to protect the Cobra. And then Siphon Soul and Cobra.
Think about if Crobat played a Cobra. Or Crobat, yeah.
Crobat played a Cobra, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 3 times fast, yeah.
It's like Tides of Time playing versus Tice.
Oh boy.
And then you try cast like Tice plays this, Tides plays this.
Or who was it? Amaz and Amaz, yeah.
Amaz and Amaz, yeah. Alright, there is a silence for the Cobra, but Hawkeye still just wants to set up a big taunt and trade a bit.
I think this is a tap turn. You do tap here, no matter what, I feel.
Yeah, you can, because you can always silence and Defender Vargas after that. Twilight Drake doesn't change much.
This is the thing, like Hawkeye thinks about the entire turn. He doesn't just think about what he's going to do first, you know? So if you just think about what you can do first, you might drop the owl and then decide to tap or something. But I mean, now it's going to turn out so much better because now he can, yeah.
Can you drop the Twilight Drake actually this turn? So
I think his idea of not going for the Twilight Drake is because he has the, he doesn't have a heal bot right now.
I would actually like Twilight Drake and
he's waiting a bit. It kind of looked like he went against what we were talking about earlier. And he's now being a bit hesitant because it would be better to go for the Twilight Drake. But I think now he realizes he should have gone for the Twilight Drake. And is he actually gonna go back on that, you know, to save face, or because he goes for the other ring?
Alright, so
yeah, that looked like he was thinking about the Twilight Drake again.
Yeah, he was, because Twilight Drake seems to be the best play, but when you start with the Iron Big Owl.
I mean, how is he gonna kill him from 16? You know,
that's right.
It's not happening with 9 mana.
One beast on board. Alright, so maybe a small folder there again for the analyst desks to analyze the situation. Back to Detherlor, though. He got the freezing trap, but it's not like he can use it really well in this situation. So probably just playing.
I think you'll have to trade into the owl, and I mean,
yeah, but
bouncing a 3/3 is not horrible, but
it's not the best. Wouldn't you prefer to have a 4/4 on board?
I think he prefers getting the 6/6 next turn though with the Core Rager.
All right, okay.
But yeah, Hawkeye doesn't wait a second. Does he trade first? I think he should trade first into the 4/3. Does he tap and go for the Emperor, or? I feel like if he's not going for the Emperor, he should go face and taunt up.
He might still tap here. there's only one card in Hunter's hand. You more or less deal with this board after attacking into the Pilot Shredder. So you might tap to see.
Yeah, it's Twilight Defender or tap Emperor. But if you tap Emperor, you start with attacking, so we should know what he's doing by the first action here.
If you go Emperor, definitely tap. Interesting turn.
It just depends on like how secure is he in his win. Because if he goes for tap Emperor, he basically guarantees it. If Hawkeye doesn't get, if Detherlor doesn't get like quick shot into some craziness. Now Malygos, not the best card here, but a good finisher later on, you know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's actually pretty good for the Emperor, because the Emperor hits at least one combo card, and with Malygos being for 8, if he gets a Dark Bomb, he can cast it with Malygos, or maybe Devil Soulfire.
It's highly possible now. Hunter's Mark is not bad here though. He has to go for it, but does he trade in? I don't think he does trade in.
The key to kill the 4/2? No, I think you go face. So you kill the 5/1 with the 1/1, obviously. Play the Cold Rager, go face, and
probably the first time I've seen a 7/7 Cold Rager even, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I was thinking 6/6.
That's why I was confused why he was not playing it, because I totally forgot he can actually buff it.
I thought it was a 6/6, honestly. It's been so, yeah.
7?
But yeah, 7/7.
7/7 is kind of worse because of BGH.
Yeah.
Nerf Cold Rager to 6/7.
But now is he gonna get too eager and go for the Siphon before the Twilight Drake?
Can you just implosion the 4/3?
I think you start by trading into the 4/3. That should be the first call.
Trading into 4/3.
I mean, why wouldn't he? Like, he's not gonna be taunting up the 4/3. It wouldn't make any. The 4/2 wouldn't make any sense.
You're right. You're right. And you can still implosion this and just get the board on empty.
Or he was thinking about a possible low walker Joe and didn't want to give Detherlor a Siphon show.
It seems like he is still in a great position, and this deck is mostly running double heal bot, unless he actually swapped one heal bot for Sludge Belcher, because in most of the lists I've seen there is only one Sludge Belcher.
And he gets 4 out.
Oh wow.
Detherlor does not look happy here.
Yep, he is suffocated, as he said, and Handmaster is well in the right play, but then it dies to Imps. So this is exactly where Hawkeye wanted to be. Detherlor is under the surface, just drowning in the beast tears.
That's what we were talking about, you know. We saw in game 1 with the Mali lock just fall completely flat because there were no taunts and no AoE. But this time he draws all the taunts he could ever need, you know, and then he just dominates. So it's not as consistent as you know, many other decks here, but yeah, Black and Corruptor looks pretty good.
Yeah, and he can still play Farseer. I would actually prefer Corruptor.
He's playing around Unleash, I believe.
Yeah.
He's taking 2 safe, possibly. I mean, but he's not gonna loot from now on, so he figures, you know, why not?
You're right. Well, with this board, I can't imagine Hunter winning. Such a big taunt, no cards in hand, 13 points of health. There is a kill command. Well, that's something. Well, you keep it for now. You want to draw a beast, so you hero power pass. Then you.
I mean, he meant to go for it just for the quick shot into the second kill command or something. Like.
Yeah, well, but you don't have to use it now.
And that's what, an 8 damage Dark Bomb?
Yep.
And turn down right now. You should end turn, yeah.
Yeah, just pass, and you just win next turn. Is there anything that he can draw? An Animal Companion is a beast, but then kill command for 5.
It's gonna be lethal, exact. No, a little bit more even, yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure more. Now, even
he kills the 4/4, he has to go face the kill command anyway, so.
He got a Huffer at least.
Yeah. It's about the best you can get, but now you can kill command the face.
Hawkeye is just BMing him with sorry. Well, that didn't work out for Detherlor, so Hawkeye is going to win game number 3 and take a lead with my favorite deck, personally, the Malygos. Yeah, I love the Malygos deck, because it's like so cool to play those high-quality minions early. Gang Boss into Twilight Drakes, Azure Drakes, Corruptors, which I really like, and then just try to accumulate the combo parts and use them for burst. And you have to always look for the spots. Like this deck is so flexible. As we've seen, Hawkeye was mostly playing defensively, he was trading into minions, and it worked out for him. Sometimes you can be really aggressive, just play defender and go face, because you know your opponent is not going to kill you, and you don't even need the Malygos to win the game.
It's kind of like the Hunter, you know, it's very reliant on being able to switch gears and you know, take it from being passive to going really aggressive in the late game and switching up things. As you have, you know, you have cards as the Blocking Corruptor, very aggressive. You have the Gang Boss, very aggressive. You have 1-drops, 2-drops, but you also have the heal bots and the taunt. So it's kind of the midway between Zoo and Handlock, where you can, you know, play both roles.
Yeah, and now Hawkeye is left with his Mage deck, and we assume that it's Freeze Mage. So if it's not Freeze Mage, we're going to look like idiots. So hopefully it is Freeze Mage.
I mean, it would probably be better even if it's, you know, Flamemaker, because Flamemaker destroys Hunter generally, and it's good against Warlock as well. Most Warlocks, at least.
We don't know which Warlock is that for now. That might be the Handlock, and if this is a Handlock, then Freeze Mage is good versus Handlock. Well, actually, as you said, like Freeze Mage is good versus all the Warlock decks.
The thing is, Handlock is the best Warlock against Freeze Mage, but it's also really good against. As the Flamemaker is also really good against Handlock. You know, as you have the Mirror Entity, crucial. And you have a lot of pressure early, you have the fireballs and the frostbolts, so it's interesting.
Personally, I would love to see the Flamewaker, but for now we are done, and the players will come back after a short break with us.
Say I spend too much time in the forge. They think it ain't befitting a king. Ha! You don't forge legendary weapons like mine while sitting on a throne. The lands of Cosmodan are mine. And when I bring the pain, lads, it's hammer time!
Hi guys, welcome to Gfinity Spring Masters. I'm your host Nimsh, joined here by Kaldi, and we are watching an amazing match, Hawkeye versus Detherlor, two friends from Greece, arguably best Greeks in Hearthstone. We had Kroba playing in the finals versus Firebat last time, but you know, Hawkeye and Detherlor, they have a lot of achievements on their accounts.
I think Logan might have something to say about that, but yeah, they're all top tier players in Greece really. It's been the year of Greece kind of in Hearthstone, all of them doing really well. So it'll be exciting to see how this folds now. We have the Hawkeye up 2-1. He's been looking a little bit more solid. Got the win with the Paladin needed, so now it's only the Mage. And it'll be interesting to see what type of Mage he's bringing. I think if it's Freeze Mage, it's almost lights out, but if it's going to be Flamemaker, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but if Detherlor is assuming this is Freeze Mage from Hawkeye, Detherlor is probably going to take his Hunter, because I feel like Hunter has the best chance to win versus Freeze Mage out of his lineups, and his other class is Warlock. And you said, Kaldi, that Warlock is actually bad versus Freeze Mage. Whatever I play, like, is it Zoo, is it Malygos, is it Detherlor? Detherlor, Handlock.
I mean, the scenario is if you play Handlock against Freeze, if you get the turn for Mountain Giant, you almost always win. As, you know, the Freeze Mage kind of doesn't work against that pressure that early. As, you know, you need to be freezing it on turn 4 and turn 5, and then you use the Blizzard or something, or use a Frostbolt, and it really just doesn't work. You have to spend too much on that one minion, but it's unlikely to get the Mountain Giant turn 4. But looking at this lineup, I think the idea for Detherlor is to be he's just scouting with a Hunter, you know. Like, he'll need to win with a Hunter and the Warlock, so why not pick the Hunter and just check out what type of mage this is. But there's also them being teammates, so he probably just knows what mage this is and is then going for the better matchup now. But I mean, Yeah, I think there's no reason to go for the Warlock unless you absolutely know what type of mage it is and you think the Warlock has a better chance, so you get better tiebreaker score. Not that it's gonna matter, I guess.
Which Warlock is the best versus Mage? Because we now know that he is going, in fact, with the Warlock deck against that Mage from Hawkeye.
I mean, against Huntlock, against Freeze, it's gonna be Huntlock. If it's against Mac, probably be Malilock. You know, but Huntlock is
Mac.
Yeah.
Do you think it's there is a chance that Hawkeye is actually playing Mac Mage?
It's very, very unlikely, but I mean, it has happened. Purple drank brought it recently to a tournament. Against me even, yeah. He played Mac against me. It was interesting.
Did he win?
He didn't win, no, but it was close.
All right.
Really close.
Okay, so Mac Mage is actually still a thing. And we jump into the game. That is a Zoo deck versus Flamewaker. Oh my god, I'm so happy now. Like, I really like Flamewaker. I played it a lot. I played a lot of Zoo as well. A pretty nice deck.
Horrible hand for Hawkeye.
Yeah.
No coin. The coin is the biggest thing. No deck suffers as badly as the Flamewaker by not having the coin as you. You get the combo turn early, you get 2 extra damage, you can buff your mana imps.
I have to say, like, I think this is a good matchup for the Zoo. Especially if you missed all those cards.
Oh wow, okay, Rag. This turns everything. This is gonna be a mid-range mage, apparently.
Not necessarily. Ragnaros is also the Flamewaker mage, and Flamestrike was recently added after the popularity of Green Patron.
I've seen the Flamestrike, but Rag is at least not in my Flamewaker mage. Generally, you have Antonidas and Boom, and possibly Emperor, but never.
Oh, you're right. Actually, yeah, Ragnaros is not there in the list.
And the thing is, why at least the case why I don't like Flamestrike in Flamewaker is against Patron. If they get the combo rolling, you probably lost already. You need to beat them by turn 8. You know, it's kind of like when you're playing Hunter. You know, like, would you play Flamestrike in mid Hunter? I probably wouldn't, even if I had the option. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't as well. So can you take me through this list? This is not Flamewaker. This is.
That's the thing. Like, no one has refined mid mage. No one's done it. You know, there's like 6, 7 different lists with 4 or 5 different cards back and forth. You know, the general idea is mana worm. You have often 1 zombie chow, 2 mirror image. Wow. Okay, this is something new.
All right.
Yeah.
We have an update as well. Nick Chipper won versus Legendarian on the Challenger stage as we speak.
So Swedes are down here all across the board.
This is so funny actually, because this is a deck that we haven't seen before, and right now we are kind of guessing what he has, so we don't know if this hand is terrible or is it all right? Is it normal for this kind of deck?
I think, you know, since we saw the mirror image, it's probably just a Flamewaker with Flamestrike and Ragnaros, but that's almost a fire theme if you think about it. You know, Flamewaker, Ragnaros, and Flamestrike and Flame Cannon. Like,
it's just type fire and get all the fire cards in your deck. Might work, or might not. Especially when the Zoo has this kind of opening where Detherlor got all the important cards.
Like, this would be fine if you have the coin and Flamewaker. You know, this is an ideal board to clean. You know, but there's no Flamewaker, no coin.
Yeah, there's not much he can do here. And normally when you play Flamewaker versus, seems like it's really Flamewaker with unstable portals.
It's Flamewaker, yeah. I think now there's no doubt, but because why on earth would you play, you know, wow.
Sylvanas for free mana is nice, especially if you're losing on board.
The thing is, why would you play Unstable Portal in a deck that isn't Flamewaker in terms of that? I mean, the idea behind Unstable Portal, we're talking about this, you know, and the pro players think that an Unstable Portal is so bad that you'd possibly rather have a 1 mana spell that says draw a card.
Okay.
Just for a cycle, no effect.
I actually love Unstable Portal. That's one of the cards that helps me to win versus Warrior when I play Flamewaker Mage. You just get Gazrilla on 4 and you win on 5.
It's fun, you know, but for a serious tournament, it's just generally, yeah.
Reynard was second with that deck on the Legendary Series, ESL Legendary Series. There is a minion. I just wanted to talk overall about this matchup, by the way. I feel like Flamewaker is at the disadvantage unless he gets a gold hand versus Zoo. Because Zoo has so many good minions and is so good with trading that whenever you clear,
think about this though. Now
back.
He used the Flame Cannon and now Detherlor can clear without giving Hawkeye a minion.
Detherlor has lethal, by the way.
But the thing is, he figures Detherlor will want to ignore the Sylvanas anyway, so now he forces him to trade in. So he's fine with not stealing a minion if he forces a trade, but this is going to be lethal anyway. So
yeah,
going to game 5 here.
Yep, that was impressive. 13-10 imp. That's something you can actually have nightmares about. Wow.
But yeah, just an amazing hand from Detherlor and a horrible hand from Hawkeye. And I think to mention here is you know, with Hawkeye, he brought the Flame Strike, he brought the Ragnaros, and you need the consistency if you're going for a combo deck like Flamemaker. So he kind of got punished, I think, for bringing those late game cards that didn't work out that well for him.
Yeah, Ragnaros, as you said, is not that common, this kind of mage. I was playing a lot of Mech Shaman lately, and Ragnaros was one of the finishers. I felt like maybe in Flamewaker it actually makes sense. But I have mixed feelings right now, because I'm happy that we are not going to see Freeze Mage, we're going to see Flamewaker, which is not getting enough attention, I think, in tournaments. We've seen Reynard playing this deck, we've seen Gara playing this deck as well. But mostly players are bringing the Freeze Mage. And I'm sad because we discussed the Freeze Mage matchup so much during our discussion here.
You mentioned there was a possibility of Flamemaker, but you know, now we see a weird slow Flamemaker, it seems. And now going up against, we believe it's going to be the Hunter again, yeah. Yeah,
the mid-range Hunter versus Flamewaker. And what do you think about that matchup specifically?
I like the Flamewaker, but I don't like the slow Flamemaker against that. So I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, unless he actually gets like a standard Flamemaker opening, which is Mana Wyrm, maybe coin into Clockwork Gnome, Apprentice, free mirror images, Flamewaker, and then you have no cards, but you top deck spells and win.
The thing is, though, if you're cutting out, you know, cards for Flamestrike and Ragnaros, Clockwork Gnome would be about the card you want to cut, or possibly the 4-drops, because some people play a Mechanical Yeti over Shredder.
Yeah.
It's one of the only matchups where you do that, and it's really strong, but he may have to cut a 4-drop, you know.
That's true, that's true.
But what I prefer is, you know, you have Lothep, you have 1 Asher Drake, you have Emperor, and then 2 7-drops in the Dr. Boom and Antonidas, and gives you a really consistent curve, even if you don't draw everything you need.
Yeah,
you know?
There's a lot of things that can happen. Let's say if Mirror Entity actually set up before turn 6, so the Hunter can play high main. Tempo Mage, Flamewaker Mage, Tempo Mage can actually do what it does, which is basically generate tempo and just never give a chance to Hunter to come back. But I've seen Hunter win this matchup as well, because with mirror images, you are open to Unleash the Hounds, and with big minions on board, you might not be able to clear them effectively. And a Howmaster just taunting up a high main means that you have to do something with it. Like maybe
there's no sheep generally in Flamemaker, but there is a sheep in mid-range Mage, so I think the coin will be crucial for Hawkeye. I think the Snake Trap from Detherlor will be weak. We've seen that against it seemed like against the Paladin it worked out decently, but you know, now it's not going to be as strong. It's an exciting match. I'm actually really pumped for this game 5 here.
Yeah, same. It will be very intricate and a close game, I believe, unless actually Flamewaker gets God Hand and Hunter just chokes, which can happen. Like, you just draw your Dr. Boom and summon a high main, and Flamewaker goes with that opening. But if there is no like major advantage on any side, we'll see a very nice match where trading will be really meaningful. Like, do you go with Hunter Creeper to face, or do you trade into minions? Do you overextend to Unleash? The gambles. So I'm pumped. I'm excited.
It'll be interesting to see. We have the early game favoring the Hunter, then we have the early mid game favoring the Patron, then we go back to the Hunter being slightly ahead, and then we go back to the Patron being slightly ahead. So it's a lot of twists and turns there. As you know, when I'm talking about the early late game, that will be, you know, Antonidas Boom versus being better than a few 3-drops, which you normally see at that stage. So yeah, things looking good though. I have to give maybe Hawkeye a slight edge.
Plot twist. What if Hawkeye didn't have enough dust to craft Antonidas and he just replaced it with Ragnaros? That's a question I get all the time. Like, I don't have Antonidas for my Flamewaker Mage. What do I do?
Ouch, yeah. I've actually been asked that as well, and I say this add a 5-drop, you know.
Okay. What if, like, if you don't have a Blackrock Mountain and you want to play Grim Patron deck?
Bolt of Fist Ogre, all the way.
Okay. It's a good minion. It's 6 attack, goes for face, you smork it, so I like it. Alright, so those friends, Fate to Karma, pretty good team, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got created, and I looked at the lineup and I was like, Most of the players are actually taken by the big teams, and I look at the Detherlor, Hawkeye, Game King, Toide, and I was thinking, wow.
And Cypher as well, yeah.
Yeah, Cypher as well, exactly.
The most successful Gfinity player of all time. He's won like 5 events, I think, online. So be fun to if he could actually make it here to the main event.
Yeah, pretty good showing for the team, a pretty good lineup. All right, so we are going into our last game of this match, Detherlor versus Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye has the coin. Wow, okay.
Flame Cannon, Unstable Portal. Still no minions, actually.
Yeah, it's been a bit dry. One thing I'm getting from keeping Unstable Portal, it's a mediocre thing. You really want to be going for 1 and 2 drops, like Mana Worm and Mad Scientist, you know? So him keeping Unstable Portal kind of suggests that he has more late game.
Yeah.
As I mean, we still haven't seen the Flamemaker. It's been hinted, but this could well as well be just, you know, a weird mid-mage with the mirror images.
It can be, but so far the only awkward card was Ragnaros. Other cards that he got in the first game and then this game seem like a standard Flamewaker.
Are we gonna have to call it as a hybrid mage? Is that gonna be a new thing?
Hybrid mage, which is mid-range mage.
Between Flamemaker and mid-mage?
Possibly. Well, I'm excited to see what's he going to draw next, but for Detherlor, he missed the 1-drop, which is fine with Midrange Hunter, and now he's in an awkward spot where playing Juggler into Mad Scientist might be the play, but you can also just Hero Power maybe and use the bow? I don't know, like, you know there's Mirror Entity in this deck. So what do you really want to give to Hawkeye?
The thing is, what better target for the quick shot than the...
Oh wow! The Reaver is actually amazing versus Hunter. Most of the time.
It is, yeah. Until you get Freezing Trapped, you know. But to talk a bit about, you know, tips for newer players. If you're playing against a Hunter and he has the coin, and he doesn't do anything on turn 1, you can almost guarantee that it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a mid-range Hunter. Whereas, you know, a face Hunter would always at least play a 1-drop or coin out the 1-drop, possibly two 1-drops.
Yeah.
Now the Flame Cannon coming down, I like that. You can follow that up with Fel Reaver plus Flame Cannon.
That will be super strong, and at this point you do have a lot of great cards.
The Hunter's Mark, though, that's going to be a key against the Fel Reaver if he does end up going for that. I mean, we see Juggler and Unleash in hand as well. Would he possibly just want to go Hunter Creeper pass? I'd have a lot of respect for him to go for that.
Just Hunter Creeper pass? Like,
yeah.
Well, there is this Mirror Entity.
The thing is, like, he'll give his opponent the Hunter Creeper as well, so be able to, you know, pop the Hunter Creeper himself, get 2 Jugglers out of that. You know, after going for the Unleash, he could clear everything. I think just Hunter Creeper pass here.
Well, if you give a Hunter Creeper to your opponent, his Hunter Creeper is going to attack into your Hunter Creeper
and give you more Unleash the Hounds.
Unless he just pings your Hunter Creeper here. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he'd need to ping his own guy too, yeah. So
yeah. That makes, actually that makes a lot of sense. So you just Hero Power here.
Mad respect to Detherlor if he figures this out and just Hero Powers. This is a hard turn. He does figure it out. Wow. I think Detherlor is going to be looking to take this serious. I mean, yeah, well played to him.
Yeah, that was definitely well planned. But will he be able to execute that really? He will, if there is a Fel Reaver, and there's no point in not playing a Fel Reaver here.
I mean, there's some merit for, you know, for the Mechanical Yeti. But the thing is, he has a minion to proc the Vision Trap, and he has to figure, okay, I can't play around the Hunter's Mark anyway, just to have to check. So,
what if Hawkeye is actually expecting this, and he's going to use Flame Cannon and then attack into one of the Spectral Spiders and then ping another one?
I think it's gone too far, even, you know, like if you're expecting him to have a Hunter's Mark and a Juggler.
He actually sees that! He goes so deep. Unless he is not.
This still works out okay. I mean, he can trade in and then go for the Unleash and Hunter's Mark first. So
yeah,
it's not a big deal. Like, I still don't like this play because, I mean, Flame Cannon is good. In that one very specific scenario, it's going to be better, but all around, you know, Flame Cannon is going to be viable against a lot of stuff in the mid Hunter. You have the Helm Master, you have, you know, you have Lotheb ping, you know, with a Slot Belcher, Savannah, so...
Oh man, there also, Hawkeye doesn't have any spells for now. And whenever there's so many dogs, do you trade in the Spirit of Spiders?
You have to, yeah. You want to keep the juggler rolling.
Alright. So simple Frostbolt, no Frostbolt for now, but I feel like just an Azure Drake is alright here. Or is he going for...
I kind of like Yeti.
Why do you ping though? Do you really want to deny the beast? Well, he really respects the Handmasters though. And actually, this is smart. Like, he did deny the Handmaster. He plays something to contest the Juggler. And the Flamewaker wasn't that useful because he has no spells anyway. And for Detherlor, this Flamewaker seems like a priority target. He has to kill it or silence it.
I think you start with an Owl. Like, you need to be drawing from the quick shot anyway, so why not start with an Owl, check if you can get something out of it?
I like the Owl, but you have to be aggressive as well. So you might actually... Is there any possibility of different taunts? Mirror Image, maybe. How much damage is there for Detherlor? There is like 8 points of damage. If he gets a kill command... Okay, so keeping Owl actually, if he gets a kill command, is correct. Because then he can kill command for more. Well, Web Spinner is not exciting at all.
It's really bad actually.
But Detherlor has time, and Tempo Mage does not run any heals. Normal does not run any heals.
Yeah, and no taunts except the mirror images. So, I mean...
5? Well, do you actually...
You can just draw, yeah, like you just draw.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to actually hero power.
But the thing is, this is not Hybrid Hunter, and this is not Phase Hunter, so there's gonna be no Wolf Riders or Arcane Golems popping out.
Yeah, but you are going to get a Beast, because you have a Web Spinner, so if you still top deck a kill command, we are going to be... You'll be able to play it and deal 5 points of damage.
But I mean, a random 3 or 4 drop late in this game, I mean, you know, Hawkeye has complete board control, so he doesn't need it.
Unless it's King Crush.
Unless it's King Crush, yeah. But I don't see another viable play than just...
I would definitely go for Web Spinner, Iron Beak. Iron Beak on the 2-1. And hero power quick shot.
I mean, now this shit gets clunky. Like,
it does. You might not be able to draw a card from quick shot if you get like the Beast.
I mean, does he know something that we don't know about in terms of the deck list? Is there gonna be a hidden Belcher and Flamemaker Mage? Like, wouldn't that be something? I don't think there would be, honestly.
Alright, I think that would be a very good turn for our analysts, actually. Oh wow, no Dr. Boom, it was green! How much damage is it?
You may figure that there's gonna be a second Unleash.
Yeah.
But I think Mana Bomb is stronger here. You need to start, you know, tipping away that health total here.
Well, being Hawkeye, I'll be so scared right now. Hunter just at 4 mana, keeping 2 cards in hand. What would you expect? Like a double quick shot? You would cast one. So Unleash the Hounds, possibly you only had 2 minutes on board. I would be sure it's Unleash the Hounds, and maybe Iron Beak.
But I mean, giving him another turn to, you know, hero power and draw a card is much worse, I think, than the possibility of another Hound. Like,
you have to win in like next turn, basically. Can you do it? You can do it, yeah, with the Fireball.
I think you will do it even, yeah. I mean, he waited too long. He didn't go for the quickshot last turn, and now it's gonna cost him.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he actually, we now see it's a Web Spinner.
He has to play the Cobra if he's gonna draw a card, and I mean, without drawing a card, he's gonna lose. So, yeah, this is just not looking good.
He was too passive. I really want to know what's the next card after the Web Spinner.
I mean, if you're gonna go face with the weapon again and again and let the Flamemaker stay alive, then you have to go for the quick shot last turn and throw with the Owl and just hope to get lucky. You can't play it, you know, halfway.
Overall, I don't like keeping Flamewaker on board. Flamewaker is doing so much damage by itself. It changes any spell into spell effect plus 2 damage.
The thing is, my idea earlier about just dropping it into the Juggler and silencing the Flamemaker. He would have had, what, 8 more health probably now?
He has to quick shot something, but then he's still dead. He needs to assume there is no Fireball, but with Fireball, Hawkeye is actually going to take this match.
And he could have gone for low tip instead. Think about it. Had he done it a turn earlier, he could have gone for low tip and hero powered.
Yeah, that's true.
But now we see Hawkeye just turning this around and taking the series 3-2. He just played better, I think, overall.
Yeah, definitely. Hawkeye played better overall. We've seen Detherlor, coming against your friend who is more recognized than you is sometimes difficult because you feel like I might not be able to win versus him. I will not have the ability, but I think like those guys are friends still. I do agree that Hawkeye played much better.
They're gonna be laughing, a minute after the game, I think.
Yeah, but Detherlor is basically still in the tournament, so he's not out. He just needs to win all the other matches to go out of his group. Hawkeye still, he has to win, I believe, one more. We have the GSL format, or maybe if he loses the next one, he'll have to win another one.
He just has to not lose both matches that he's got left.
Yeah, basically, if you lose 2 matches, you're out of the tournament. But I like the GSL format. I mean, you do play a lot of matches, actually. Well, if you lose 2 matches in a row, then you're out. But you play at least 3 matches if you win at least one.
Yeah, also saves us, I guess, the loser versus loser match, which doesn't matter, Save for another Naniva mess up there. But so Hawkeye is actually going to be my favorite for the tournament, and he now only needs to win one more game to make it to the top 4. So things looking good for him. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I'm sure we see more of Detherlor though.
Did Lothar point out Detherlor as his black horse of the tournament?
I think so. Yeah. That's looking good. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I did point out Tom6029 as the winner, and he's doing pretty well. But I did point out Unskiller as a black horse, and unfortunately Unskiller lost his first match.
A fellow Polish player as well, right?
Yeah, he is. All right, I think our analyst desk is actually ready. So yeah, guys, take it away and let's talk about those games.
Thanks, Nimshin Kali, for the great cast of that game. Guys, we're here to obviously talk about that match. No upsets yet in the tournament so far. Hawkeye winning 3-2 over Detherlor. It was the match, the result that you two picked. Lothar, what do you think of that game?
Well, the players played really well.
Oh, good. No more Mr. Nasty Lothar.
No more shots fired.
Yeah, there were some questionable plays, but in overall, the match felt really well played by both players. Maybe let's focus on the last game because we just saw that, right? Okay. There was a really well played turn by Hawkeye, turn 7, when he could have played Dr. Boom to set up lethal, like for the next turn. But instead he went for the Drake, Draw, Manaverm, Frostbolt. And that was the crucial play because he if he kept track, and I assume he kept the track of the cards that his opponent was playing, he knew that Detherlor was keeping the far left card for like 5 or 6 turns, so he knew this might be either second weapon or in silence, or maybe a kill command. But probably the kill command would have been used way before, and if that would have been the second Unleash the Hounds would have been used on the 1/2/1 Flamewaker. So he had the biggest amount of information in probably. Well, never mind. He had the information, and he went for the play with the Frostbolt, and he even checked when he was like roping. He even checked with the point. He pointed at the web spinner during the animations
to ensure that the Flamewaker killed it.
Yeah, to ensure that the Flamewaker was killing the web spinner. So he wasn't waiting for the animations. He was checking before that. So that was a really cool thing to do. Not many people actually know that you can do it, and this is one of the things that you have to do, especially with Patron Warrior, because you can do the same.
Yes.
So those really few steps that Hawkeye did make were the winning plays. And that was really cool to see. And Detherlor was making a really weird play on turn 2 when we saw that quick shot on Mad Scientist, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you pointed out that you would not have quick shot the Mad Scientist at all, just because you don't really have a nice way to play around Mirror Entity. You could risk it with the Animal Companion, but it might be counterspell.
Yeah.
I was kind of okay with quick shotting the Mad Scientist, but I think after that, the follow-up play should have been Bow. Because as you say, Animal Companion is just way too risky if it's Counterspell. It might be he has some information. Maybe he knows his teammate doesn't like Counterspell, so he just assumes it's not in the deck. But I think if he just quick shot the Mad Scientist on turn 2, and then equip the Bow on turn 3, he then has the option on turn 4. He had two drops in his hand with Knife Juggler and Horny Creeper, so he could have just played, say, the Knife Juggler, bowed down the Knife Juggler with the pre-equipped bow, and actually caught up a little bit in tempo. But I can certainly understand your reasoning as well. Of you just hear a power pass on turn 2, like forget about the scientist. It's just not worth killing.
You still didn't see any kind of development on the board. You have the Unleash the Hounds in your hand, so you kind of already have the comeback mechanism. So
especially if you keep the Knife Juggler
as
well. Yeah.
So it was kind of risky. I didn't understand if he would have one quick shot only in deck, but as we saw that he has actually 2 quick shots.
Yes.
So the reasoning might be kind of different when you have 2, but still a really risky play.
Yes.
And I don't think the risk is such important. I mean, the risk is of such high value if it's on turn 2.
Yeah,
because it can lose you the game instantly. And that's nothing you want to do on such early stages of the game when you know you're playing Hunter, so you have many ways to actually making comeback.
Right.
Well, let's talk about this Mage deck more generally, because we saw it in 2 games. We saw, obviously, in the first game it lost to Tap into second Power Overwhelming plus Abusive Sergeant, which was pretty disgusting.
Well, you can't do anything about it.
You can't do anything about it. But a lot of very unconventional picks in this choice. Ragnaros, the mirror images. Soto, you're an avid deck builder. You write a lot of deck guides. You're a man who knows his decks and knows just about every deck out there that's being played.
Sure.
What did you make of this deck, and where did it come from?
Like, more than that, I'm someone that's messed around with a lot of those types of Mage decks. You know, I brought the old-fashioned style Tempo Mage to the original Gfinity and took a lot of flack for it from people who didn't think it was a good deck. But like since then, Flamewaker has come out and it's kind of refined that deck into a more aggressive, all-in kind of combo deck almost. But we saw that Hawkeye was playing a slower version that had Flame Strike. We saw cards like Sylvanas get burned off the Fel Reaver, so that was in there as well. He was playing Ragnaros. So what you saw in the game against Zoo is that the criticism of the deck that I brought, and so the pretty much the similar deck to what Hawkeye brought, is the same criticism, is that sometimes you just get a terrible opening hand where you have all your late game. And that's exactly what we saw happen against Zoo. There's
when he drew it to Mirror Entity and Flame Strike off
Mirror
as well
Entity,
again,
Flame Strike, Ragnaros, or something like that. Like that can just happen, and against a deck that's just going to spiral so much early advantage like Zoo, you're just not going to be able to get into the game.
I really like including the Ragnaros in the deck because it's like a win card against some type of some type of decks. Let's say Freeze Mage. You play the Ragnaros, you win if there's no polymorph, right? So because it's like an insurance card against some type of deck. So I don't really blame him for picking Ragnaros.
Rag's such a fun card. It's always a strong card, and it's some people just like it as a flavor pick in a lot of decks. It's not always in strong decks, but it can certainly be. Let's take a quick look at the Group B bracket as well.
Sure.
Now we've had those 2 first-round games, of course. You'll see on the screen that the casters were talking about Nick Chipper defeating Legendaren 3-2, which might be something of an upset. People maybe have heard of Legendaren's name from tournaments gone by and being a player that people knew about. But Nick Chipper,
Nick Chipper is a player that's really hot right now. Like as
recently
as 2 days ago or something, he was rank 1 legend and just recently got usurped by Kalento in the last 24 hours or so. So he's really like, if you're rank 1 legend at any given point, it means you're in tune with the meta at that point in time. So it's a really good time for him to come to a tournament and have a big impact.
He's got a really good team as well in Vegas Gordon, and is not just practicing with his teammates, but he's also practicing with guys like Nairia from Ukraine, and he really looks up to those players like Nairia, and Kalento is kind of an inspiration for him to follow, and he likes their play style as well, so he really models himself on those players from Ukraine. So what we're going to see Nick Chipper versus Hawkeye in not the next game that we have coming up. It's going to be the game after that, the winner's game for Group B. But our game that we're going to see, the first winner's game is going to be Tom versus Don't Stop Me. Don't Stop Me, of course, a French player. We're going to talk about that when we come back for that. But overall, guys, Twitch chat's new favorite, Simon Cowell Lothar here, was you were more impressed with the plays in that game.
Definitely. Still, the players weren't exactly doing the biggest reach for the win in each game.
He's never happy, is he?
I think
it's always going to be something to complain about.
What's safe to say about that game, and something that we can get Lothar to agree with, is that the better player won, and that we were generally more impressed with Hawkeye's play in that set than we were with Detherlor's.
That's true.
It's always good when the best player wins. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we can come back with Tom versus Don't Stop Me. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Gfinity Summer Masters.
So, is he gonna turn that sheep into a devil sword?
That or a squirrel, it's a 50-50 chance. Oh.
Oh, is he okay?
An ogre stepped on him and he's a squirrel, so no.
Hearthstone, play it free, rated T.
Ah.